guys, and welcome back to another book video with your two favorite book nerds, Amy
and Kelly.
Today is time for our March wrap-ups, our huge March wrap-ups.
Huge. It's huge.
Huge. As y'all know, we had our Romantasy March Madness last month, so that meant that we were both reading a lot of books for that.
Yeah,
and that is definitely what I can contribute to my reading success in March.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So
I have a feeling though that April's gonna be a smaller
little less.
Oh gosh, that's so much.
But that's okay. That's okay, because I feel like I also got nothing done but reading.
Facts.
Which is, you know, not
a bad thing.
It's not a complaint, mind you. But my housework definitely suffered, and it will be nice to kind of straighten things back up again, get a little time. So
yeah,
for
sure.
Yes.
All right, you want to kick us off?
Okay, I sure can. So I read 13 books in March.
Oh my god.
I did.
Oh my god.
I know. My 13 books are for book club in February that I finished in March, The Dead Romantics. March's book club, which I finished in March, is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher. I also read Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands by Heather Fawcett. And then I got to get into all the March Madness books that I did. So I did a reread of Followed by Frost by Charlie Holmberg, Beauty by Robin McKinley, Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer, That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming, The Blue Sword by Robin McKinley, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, and finally, one that I did not have a physical copy of is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. And lastly, I also don't have a physical copy of Radiance by Grace Draven.
So out of all of those books, what were your ratings?
So out of all of those, I had an average of 3.5 stars. So not grand, but you know, not bad either.
Yeah.
I only had 1 star in there, so one star.
There we go. That makes more sense.
Yeah, I only had 1 star. I mean, come on, it was 3.5.
I mean, I guess.
I had one star book, so really not bad. I had several 5 stars, so.
All right, I read 11 books in March.
Again,
it's kind
third
of like
month in a row.
I know. I'm over halfway to my Goodreads goal now. I had 50 was my goal, so I'm at 33.
Yeah, I don't know. You willing to break that streak?
I can't now. I can't now. If I read less than 11, it's just... Oh. Nope, I have to keep going. So 11 or greater. But, alright. The 11 books I read in March. We have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. Once Upon a Broken Heart, Stephanie Garber. The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling, Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross, Beauty by Robin McKinley, Followed by Frost by Charlie Holmberg. I didn't read that one.
No, that's right.
Sword by Robin McKinley. The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. This stack's gonna cover my face. The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches by Sengu Mondana.
Mondana.
And Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett.
I mean, look at this pile of books between us. I mean, my gosh. Look at that. And that's just the physical copies.
I think this is our thumbnail.
There you go.
For my ratings, I had average of 3.5 stars also. All right, pages.
Okay, pages. So I had a total of 4,127 pages for an average length of 318.
That's less than I thought.
Yeah, we read some short books. There's quite a few of them that were under 300 pages. Oh. And my longest book was Once Upon a Broken Heart at 403. And my shortest one was in here somewhere. Right here. Right next to it. Followed by Frost by Charlie Holmberg at 244.
Alright, so for me, my pages, I read 3,635 for an average of 330 pages. My longest book was The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, and my shortest, I believe, was Followed by Frost. All of our stacks of books just everywhere.
We're okay. Authors?
Authors.
So, I had 6 authors that I'd read from before. I did... I read 2 Robin McKinley books, so I had basically 12 authors. Half of them are repeats, half of them were new to me. And I think I will read everybody except for KJ Sutton and Aaron Sterling. But I really do think I'll try everybody else. And my repeats were some of my favorites. T. Kingfisher, Robin McKinley, Rebecca Ross, Grace Draven. I love them. I've read several books of theirs. Charlie Holmberg. Yeah. I've read multiple books from them, and I like them. So definitely read from them. And Assistant to the Villain, Hannah Nicole Mayer. I'll probably go on and read that. Kimberly Lemming with That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon. Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't turn it down if somebody gave it to me.
Book Fairy.
Yeah, but KJ Sutton was Fortuna Sworn. No, absolutely not. That was my 1-star book. I'm done. And Aaron Sterling with the X-Hex. It was a 3-star, but it's just not something that interests me. So, I don't think I'll probably look her up again.
That's fair. Alright, so out of my 10 authors, because I also read 2 from Robin McKinley, all of them were new to me. Hadn't read from any of them before. And I would read from all of them again, except Robin McKinley. She was the one that got my 1 and my 2-star rating, so yeah.
I don't know. I might make you read the vampire book that she wrote. That's pretty good. But I probably not, because I just think her writing style is not for you.
Yeah, I agree.
So, yeah. Okay, genres. So I had 1 horror, 1 romance, 3 fantasy, and 8 romantasy.
I had 1 romance, 1 fantasy, and 9 romantasy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at us go.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Now let's talk about the books.
Whoa.
I don't know what this was.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a fight to get through this stack of books. I'm just going to go down the list that I have on here. So,
That works.
Radiance by Grace Draven. I decided to read this book because a couple of the romantasy books that I picked for the list were not really romantasy. And so I started thinking about what books could I have picked. And then I remembered Grace Draven. And yeah.
Oh no.
So I reread Radiance, which is a straight up romance fantasy. It is a complete fantasy world about Ildiko, I think, who is the niece of the king of Gower, and her husband, these pronunciations, I think it's Bryson, who is a younger son of the king of Bast Heredis. They are Kai, whereas Ildiko is human. And so it's a story about these 2 people who are basically of not much importance to their countries. They're not the heirs to the throne. They're not, next in line or anything like that. But they're still good for political gain. And so it's an arranged marriage between these 2. They basically meet on their wedding day. But what's interesting about this is that Bryson, being Kai, he's not human at all. He's not even remotely human. They have this really gray skin color. Ildiko describes it as dead eel. And their eyes are yellow and have no pupils and no whites. It's just completely yellow. They have fangs Like, their teeth are all fangs and sharp. They have claws. And
Sounds
Ildiko is human. So basically, and their first meeting really is kind of a meet cute. It really is. So the Kai are a night people, and of course, human are daytime people. So when they meet, it's during the day, and Ildiko goes and takes a walk in the garden, and she finds Bryson there, but doesn't know who he is. And he's kind of shaded. He's got his big hood up, but she can still like see these glowing yellow eyes. But anyway, they find each other hideous, absolutely ugly. But they tell each other this, and they're like joking and teasing each other from the get-go. And it's just fun. Of course, they end up getting married. It's this arranged marriage. And then Ildiko goes to live in Herodis, which is Bryson's home country. And so kind of like how she adapts. And there's a danger aspect because there's a third country that is not happy that these two countries have allied through marriage. And so there's some danger and some political stuff that goes through there. But because it's a romance, of course, it heavily features the relationship between Ildiko and Bryson. And I mean, this has got to be one of the healthiest couples I've ever read in any romance. Because they are such separate species, they decide that they're not going to start out consummating the marriage. They're going to wait until they're a little more comfortable with each other. And so they're good friends, and they become very good friends. And then it just kind of, it flows from there. But there is never a time where they don't support each other, where they don't take care of each other. And it's just like this growing relationship between them. And yet there's still tension in this story because of outside forces. There's tension between them because they are so different and getting used to each other. And just the way that they joke and tease with each other, and, you know, how honest they are with each other. I mean, I still love this book. It does have issues. There's some of the language is a little cringy. It gets a little flowery sometimes. But on the whole, just the relationship, I just love it. And there is a sequel to this book. I'll probably pick that up too, because now I want to read it. But yeah, I very much should have picked a Grace Draven book because, yeah.
Much better.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to start getting quicker here because if I take that long to go through.
And we'll probably, the ones that we both read, we can discuss at the same time.
At the same time.
It won't be a 2-hour video.
Yeah. So the next one on my list is Beauty by Robin McKinley. And this is one that I picked for Amy to read for the March Madness. It is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And it is a favorite of mine. And
I'm still trying to figure out why.
Well, I love the way Robin McKinley writes. She has a very dreamlike quality to her writing, a very fairy tale quality to her writing. And I enjoy that. I like the way she writes. Yes, and I said in the video, I understand why people don't like the Beauty and the Beast fairy tale. I get it. I don't care. I do. So there you go. And it is a very faithful retelling.
I like the movie. I don't like the books. The books are boring. The movies are fun.
I love it. I just love this book. And I do think that the relationship between Beauty and the Beast in this book is well portrayed. And I just enjoy it.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too slow for me.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't a whole lot that was happening.
Okay, so the next one on my list is The Twisted Ones by T. Kingfisher, which I won't really talk about because we just did a whole live discussion for our book club, so you can go check out that video. But basically a longer horror story by T. Kingfisher. Let's see. The next one on my list is Assistant to the Villain by Hannah Nicole Mayer. This is a very tongue-in-cheek, absurd sort of story.
So absurd. So fun.
It is billed as Once Upon a Time meets The Office. And I don't know that I get Once Upon a Time, but I do get The Office. Just the stupidity of it, the absurdity of it. It's silly, and it's not meant to be serious. It's meant to be silly. I think we both mentioned the map.
Yeah, the map is my favorite map that I've ever seen in a book.
Yeah, we both mentioned the map in our clips, reading clips. So, anyway, we both talked about this. You can go over to our TikTok and look at those, or you can go check out our March Madness video and check out that one. I liked it a lot. I gave it a 3. I like the absurdity of it. I like the silliness of it, but sometimes it was just too silly. And then it got cringy. And I wasn't a huge fan of the romance. It was good, but it wasn't like, I don't know. It didn't make, I don't know. I mean, it was okay. It was okay.
I gave it 4 stars. I really liked this book a lot. I loved how like silly it was. It was, yeah, it was such a fun ride, and I liked the romance, okay? And I loved Tristan. Oh my gosh, my heart. He just, takes my heart. I just thought it was super cute, and I thought it was also cute how she was kind of like all naive about how he felt about her. And it's just like, oh, well, he doesn't like me. Like, you know, like she never thought it was possible that the villain, her boss, could actually be into her. And he's just over here like secretly wanting her and all these things. I don't know, it was just so freaking cute. And I loved it, and I thought it was fun. And yeah, I'm definitely continuing on in this series. Because I gotta find out what happens. It left you on a cliffhanger.
There was a cliffhanger at the end, and it was, I mean, I liked the twist at the end. I don't think you liked it quite so much.
Not really.
But I liked it. It's usually one of the things I don't like in thrillers when it's a pick a villain. You know, you can just, it could be anybody. But because this book was so silly, it didn't matter to me that it was just completely out of the blue with no warning or no hints to it at all.
I needed a little bit for a reason.
I just didn't care. But God, that was loud. Dang. Way that it was explained how the villain was the villain, though, all made sense. Mm-hmm. I mean, you could see how it happened. There just really weren't hints throughout the story.
Yeah.
To get there. Okay, That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. Kind of same thing. It was silly. It was absurd. Especially that first 50 pages. Oh my gosh, it killed me. This one, I would say this one was just pure silliness. Just like slapstick absurdity. This one I thought was so silly because it's obviously a medieval fantasy world, but they're using like modern language. But the author did it, it was so well placed, and it was so obviously intentional that she was trying to be silly that it worked for me. So it's about Cinnamon, who's a spice trader, and one night when she is drunk, she saves a demon, and he ends up dragging her off to kill an evil witch and save his people. So that's kind of what that is. What I did not like about this book, though, was the romance. I just didn't.
Yeah.
They were cute together before they became a couple. And once they became a couple, he turned into the whole touch her and die, you can't leave my sight, and being all dominant and all of that. And I just didn't care for that. Outside of that, though, I like this book, which is why I might someday when I'm bored pick up the next one, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf.
Yeah.
And I think I know who the werewolf is. I think it's the werewolf in this book, which I think would be fun to read about him. Mm-hmm. He was a fun character.
And
so.
That one was one that I DNF'd. I started it, and once I got through the first, I think I got 50% of the way through it, mm-hmm. and I gave up on it because the beginning was really funny, and I liked that, and I thought the placement of the modern language was funny at the beginning, but then once they started off on their mission, and he almost kills a dude for just touching her, just looking at her. I don't remember. It was something stupid, and I'm like, this is dumb. I can't handle him, so.
Yeah. One thing I will say in both of these books, there's a lot of violence in these books, but in my clip I said it reminds me a lot of like Mel Brooks or Monty Python, where there's, you know, if you think about, especially like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, There's a lot of violence in that book.
Yeah, but that's
There's
a
a lot
good
of blood,
movie.
or that movie. There's a lot of blood in that movie, but it's all just like so silly.
Well, 'tis but a flesh wound.
Yeah.
Look, you stupid bastard, you've got no arms left. Yes, I have. Look, just a flesh wound.
Yeah. So, or you know, the yeah, the killer rabbit of Caernarvon. But it's just so obviously silly and so over the top. I mean, in this book, they like level a whole town. I mean, it's just there's severed heads
Hanging
hanging from the ceiling. I mean,
Love that
there
part.
is though. So if that does like bother you in any way, even when it's silly, probably don't read those books. There's a lot of violence in them. Okay. Once Upon a Broken Heart is next by Stephanie Garber. So again, also part of our Romantasy, March Madness. You can go watch our clips and see that, but just basically about Evangeline who gets her heart broken and she goes to the Prince of Hearts for a cure for her broken heart. And the payment he has in return is she owes him 3 kisses.
Well, she went to him to stop the wedding.
Did she?
Yeah, she went
Oh,
to
yeah,
the
she
Prince
did.
of Hearts because what she thought was her one true love was getting married to her cousin.
Someone else.
To her cousin. And so she went there to pray to the Prince of Hearts and have him stop the
Oh
wedding.
yeah, desperate to stop the wedding and heal her wounded heart, Evangeline strikes a deal.
Yeah, because she's convinced that her love, whose name I don't remember, it doesn't
I don't
even matter.
That doesn't matter.
He is not a good person. She's convinced that the only reason why he's marrying her cousin is because he has to be under some type of a curse or spell or whatever. Like,
Right.
there's no way that he would actually want to be with her cousin and not her. But I think he was two-timing him. And
I think
100% two-timing him.
yeah.
Like, she was a side piece and her cousin was the main chick. And
Not sure that's how that fell out though. Remember the end? We're not gonna spoil in
Oh,
this one.
true.
We're not gonna spoil in this one. This was a 3-star for me.
Me
I
as
think
well.
it was okay. It was interesting. The parts with Jax, the King of Hearts, was the best. But otherwise, it did read a bit too YA for me. There was a lot of parties and a lot of in detail describing what everybody is wearing. There was a group of mean girls. There was, I mean, it read a little too YA for me to enjoy it a lot. Although the ending did catch my interest back again. So
Yeah,
I'll probably read the next one.
same.
So, and okay, for me, we could probably talk about these two together too.
We sure could.
Okay, so for me, well, you talk first because this is the first one.
Oh gosh, okay, yeah. I had Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, Heather Fawcett. So, this book is about Emily Wilde who goes, where does she go, travel to?
It's,
I don't remember.
I can't
Some-
pronounce the name. It's like a Nordic country.
Yeah, she's
It's a fantasy place. It's a made-up place.
yeah. So she travels over there because she wants to study fairies, the fae, and pretty much make her own encyclopedia on all of them and try and write a big paper for.
Well, she's creating an encyclopedia of fairies, an all-encompassing, but she thinks when she does this, it will get her an invitation to this really kind of
That's what it
exclusive
is.
scholarly meeting,
Yeah, 'cause
convention
She's
kind of
a
thing.
professor as well, a
Mhm.
Cambridge professor. And so she's doing all this because she wants to be a part of the society. Well then, while she's over there, her colleague, Wendell, ends up showing up at the door to her Airbnb.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And he's there because he also wants in on this whole studying, kind of. He wants to be on it, but not really do any of the work. Because that's just Wendell. He pushes
But,
all of his
yeah.
responsibilities off onto his students and whatever, his
Yeah.
slaves. But, yeah, and so they end up they end up doing all of this research and then come to find out that there is some secrets that are hidden in this land, and they end up waking someone that they shouldn't have, and it gets a little wild.
And Wendell has a secret too.
Yeah,
he
Wendell
has
does have a secret.
He has an agenda other than being on Emily's paper.
Yes, that is true. That is true. But
Yeah.
I thought this book was good. I only gave it 3 stars. I didn't get as into it as Kelly because I know this is one of her favorite books.
It is one of my favorites.
Yeah, but I still thought it was a good time. It was a fun read. I really liked Wendell. He was my favorite character. I just have a thing for a guy like Wendell, I guess. But he definitely made the story very entertaining. And I thought Emily Wilde was a great character as well. I love how she's just kind of like
awkward.
She's just awkward.
She's very awkward, so she's just so serious all the time, and she does not really have much of a sense of humor.
Yeah.
But she's so awkward with people and knowing how to relate to people, and so the people of this town don't really take to her very well. And,
Yeah.
and then Wendell shows
Wendell.
up. Wendell shows
Especially
up.
the ladies.
And then she's so angry. But
yeah.
it doesn't, like the one person that she's not awkward with is Wendell.
Mm-hmm.
Because they, have known each other long enough that she kind of knows how to behave with him. They, they have a friendship. They really do. As much as she complains about him from the get-go, they are friends.
Yeah.
So.
But, I don't know. It was good. I think there were just some things in here that I just found kind of boring. A lot of explanations of things and stuff, and that was why I just kind of gave it 3 stars. But other than that, it was a good one.
So I did not reread that one, but I read the sequel, Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. And this still follows Emily and Wendell. What you learn about Wendell in the first book is carrying into this book. And so Wendell's secret having come out, they're now kind of dealing with that secret in this book. I really can't say a whole lot. But this time they are going to the Austrian Alps. And their main reason is there is a scholar who is referenced in the first book too, called Danielle de Grey. And she disappeared while she was researching what they call a nexus, which she theorized that there was a doorway that would lead to any of the fairy realms, when the common scholarly knowledge is that their doors are only between like different places, and so you have to find the right door for wherever you want to go. And Danielle de Grey and also Emily believed that there was a nexus, a door that would lead anywhere. And so they are off to find this door, and also to find out if they can see what happened to Danielle de Grey, because she just disappeared one day in the Alps. And so there's that mystery to follow. They've also got a couple of extra people that join them on this expedition that is kind of funny. There's another professor from Cambridge, Professor Rose, who's starts out as kind of an annoyance to Emily. She thinks he's a little too full of himself and arrogant, and
I would love him.
Thinks a little too highly of himself. And also Emily's niece, who she has a very awkward relationship with because she just doesn't quite know how to relate to her. And so she's always kind of saying the wrong things and doing the wrong things, and with this teenage girl. But it's cute. I still liked it. I did not like it as much as I liked the first one, which I gave 5 stars to, and I give this one 4 stars. There is romance in this, and it's just a little clunkier in this book than it was in the first one. It's still just really light. There's not a lot. It's really more about their adventures in trying to find this door and stuff. But it is there, but it's just a little clunkier. But I don't know. I don't know. It just didn't quite live up to the first one for me. But still liked it very much, and I'll go on and when the next one comes out. Can't pre-order it yet because it's not out yet. Followed by Frost by Charlie Holmberg, which was, again, part of the March Madness, so you can go look all of that up. I love this book. I've loved this book forever, so I put it on the list. Yeah. It is
amazing.
Yeah. It's about Smitha, who is not a nice person at all. And She offends the wrong person, and they curse her with cold, to be as cold as her heart. And so Smitha is like bitter cold. Like her touch will kill. It causes frost. It can freeze water. She's constantly cold herself, and I just love the way that Charlie Holmberg describes those things, like things you don't even think of.
Yeah, like how hard it was for her to even eat because
Mhm.
food would freeze even before she was able to swallow it.
Yeah. And the one time when she thought she was going to throw up, and she was terrified that she was going to throw up, that it might choke her and suffocate her. So just really interesting things. But Smitha is cast out of her village, and she wanders on her own for a long time. She's hunted by different groups that want to, of course, drive her off, until the people from the Southlands come and they have a deal for her. They can use her curse as a gift for their people. And so Smitha decides to go with them and travels into the desert lands, where she has adventures there too.
Yeah.
I love this book.
It's beautiful.
I do. I love it so much. I like Charlie Holmberg's writing. Always have. Smitha is a great character. Her arc that goes from being a really nasty person, and then she kind of peaks out on this apologizing for everything, coming out in the end to be kind of, and Lo. Her love interest, Lo. He's great. He's so great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the romance. It's perfect.
Cute.
It's perfect. It's just perfect. Okay. So, next. The next Robin McKinley one, which is The Blue Sword. Again, part of the March Madness. You can go look that up. This is the one that I said I should not have picked.
Agreed.
Because it was... The romance in this was not nearly as much as I remember it being. So, I should not have picked this one at all. So this is one of the ones I was thinking of when I went and read Radiance. But it is about Harry, who is an orphan, and her brother is in the military. It's very British-esque of the time of colonialism. And there's this outpost in this desert country of Damar. And so Harry goes to join her brother there. And there is tensions and such going on with the locals. And Harry ends up getting kidnapped and going on adventures after she's kidnapped. So, I still like this book. I understand that there's problems with it. I get it, but I still like it. I still like Harry as a character. I do.
Yeah.
I do.
I just don't think... As we established, I'm not a fan of Robin McKinley's writing.
No.
And that really pulled me out of the story. Because I think it was supposed to... It's an action fantasy story.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really get action fantasy. I just got... So, yeah, I don't know. And I was surprisingly disappointed that there wasn't more romance in it. I never thought I'd hear myself say those words, but...
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not.
it didn't.
I remembered it being much more romantic than that, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's not at all. So, I mean, there's some, but it's, yeah, not as much as I remember it being, but it
It's
does...
not for me.
There are problems with this book. There are problematic things about this book, but it was written in the early 80s, so, take it for what it is. I still think that Harry, overall as a character, is a pretty good one for young girls to read. She's a very independent person, and she, in some aspects, really shows her strength of character, and she has a backbone, and she does things that she thinks is the way. She follows her heart and does the things she thinks needs to be done. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it's a good book. But.
I agree with that assessment.
Okay. Divine Rivals by Rebecca Ross. 5 stars.
Oh, easy. All
5
day.
stars.
All day.
Yes. We both raved about this book in our clips and in our March Madness video, so you can go back and look at that. But briefly, it is about Roman and...
Iris.
It is about Roman and Iris, who are rival journalists at this newspaper, and they're competing for this promotion. But outside of that, there is this war between gods going on. Iris's brother has gone to join the war, so there's a lot of talk about her loneliness and her feelings of abandonment. There's a lot of grief that is addressed in this book, and it does very quickly move beyond the whole newspaper thing. There's also an aspect of letter writing in this book too, where Roman figures out he's writing to her pretty quickly, but Iris does not know. Which was also in, you're going to talk about that later.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about it next.
Well, we could, because there are a lot alike.
Yeah, it was also in The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy.
Yeah.
Where we had the letter writing, and Hart knew that he was writing to Mercy, but Mercy didn't know that it was Hart. And
so both of these are a He Falls First.
yes, and I loved it.
Yeah.
In both of them.
Yeah. So this one is, it's really good. And, I mean, I liked the romance. It was okay. But what I really liked was the discussions around grief and war and, like I said, her feelings of abandonment and, and the progression of them from rivals to friends to lovers is pretty sweet. Is pretty sweet. So, but yeah, like that one. We're definitely going to read the next one.
Oh, yeah, I'm reading it in April. For sure. Well, this month. We are in April. But
we are in April.
Yep. But
then,
So, since we mentioned The Undertaking of Heart and Mercy, this book is about Mercy, who is an undertaker, and Hart, who is a ranger? Is that what they're called?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so he pretty much, his job is to keep the people safe by going out into this, like, no man's land zone where there are all of these, oh my gosh, why can I not think of what these things are called? Tanria is where
they're zombies.
They're practically zombies.
They're pretty much fantasy zombies.
Yeah, and so his job is to pretty much take them out, and so that way they don't end up coming into the cities and stuff and infecting people. And so he ends up going to different undertakers a lot, including Birdsall and Sons, which is where Mercy works as an undertaker there. And they met for the first time, and it went horribly, horribly wrong. And they, from that point on, after their first meeting, they decided that they hated each other, like, just cannot stand each other at all. And one day, while Hart is out doing his job, because that's all he does is work, he ends up writing this letter to a friend, and it pretty much talks about how lonely he is, and just, he pretty much pours his heart out onto this piece of paper and drops it into their mail, and it gets delivered to a friend who happens to be Mercy. And she doesn't know this Hart, and she instantly is like, oh my gosh, this person, like, she just could relate to him so much.
I know
I understand how you feel. And so she decided to write back, and it was so cute. It's beautiful. I love this book. The ending crushed me, and then it realived me, and I was a zombie, but this was like,
yeah.
But oh my gosh, it was amazing. I love Hart and Mercy's relationship so much. It's so cute. I freaking just love Hart in general. He's just so grumpy, but like a soft teddy bear on the inside. Just like, oh my god. I love this book so much. I start all day, every day.
It's good.
So good.
It's good. I loved it too.
Yeah.
Okay, so next, I don't have a physical copy of, which I'm fine with, is Fortuna Sworn by KJ Sutton. You didn't have
I sure did. 5 chapters in, I gave up.
Yeah, she was a smart one. It was guilt that made me go, because she had so many more books to read than I had to, that I felt guilty. I figured I better at least read the ones that I hadn't. So I did read on. It's a 1 star for me, most definitely, but Fortuna Sworn is a nightmare. where she can, with the touch of skin on skin, she can see a person's fears, and then she can manipulate their minds to make them experience those fears, which sounds like a really neat thing.
It does sound interesting.
So could have been. But Fortuna and her brother are the last of their kind, and her brother has disappeared. And so this fairy shows up, and he says he knows where her brother is, and he will help her get her brother back on the condition that she marry him. That is the book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The first part of this book was very chaotic. Like, I think you described it as very bad fan fiction.
Yeah.
And to me, it felt like somebody very young that was just throwing everything on the page that they felt like a cool girl should do.
It was a pick-me. She was a pick-me girl.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Once she got into the fairyland, into fairy, after they got married and they went into there, they did level out. But the story's still dumb. I just didn't like it. So, there's that. Okay. Next, The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling. It was okay.
It was okay.
It was a 3-star for me.
Yeah.
Just
wanted more from this story.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
I don't think I did. I think it was just one of those meh kind of stories. It was very generic kind of story.
I think it started out pretty strong. Honestly, I think it started strong. And I liked how, she got drunk and cursed her ex, and all of that I think was really good. But then once after her, I don't know if I can say that, later on when things actually started like going down or whatever, it kind of lost me. It just was very generic, like you said. Like, it was predictable. Like, you could see where it was all going, and it's like, oh, okay.
Well, and I also felt like, in the end, the author just didn't quite know how she wanted to finish it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it started down one road towards an ending, and then it was like, not there, let's go over here instead.
Yeah.
And then it went down over here. And the very end, where they broke up, was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole reason that happened was just dumb. It was just dumb. Like, the reason that Reese, it's Vivian and Reese, or Vivi. The whole reason that Reese basically left her was just stupid. It made no sense. There was no reason for it.
Yeah.
Literally no reason.
No. No.
None.
It could have been solved by a simple
It
conversation.
was just like, he was just like, oh, well, okay, I guess I'm leaving now.
Yep.
Okay. It was just stupid. But yeah, I mean, the writing wasn't anything spectacular, so that really didn't save it. And their relationship, I didn't care. I didn't care about it.
Not really.
Although I will say the sex scenes in this were some of the better ones.
Indeed. They were well written.
Than some of the other books. So that was probably why it got 3 stars for me. So anyway, it was just a meh kind of book. And I really not interested in doing anything more than that. And lastly for me was our February book club book. So you can go and watch that whole video.
That mess of a live stream.
It was kind of a mess of a live stream.
It was a little bit.
We really just found ourselves with very little to talk about for this book, but
not because it wasn't good though. Like it was a good book.
I think did we land on 3 stars with this one too, or 4?
I think we both had 4.
3. Nope, I had 3.
You changed it.
Yeah.
Because I had 3, and then I moved up to a 4. Because you had 4, and now you're down to a 3.
And now I'm down to a 3.
Well, goodness.
I think I decided I'm way too lenient on books, and I need to start.
Wow, you're turning into
better.
me.
But this is about Florence and Benji.
Oh yeah,
Benji. It's about Florence and Ben, and Florence is a ghostwriter, a romance ghostwriter, and Ben is an editor for a romance company. And Florence just had a bad breakup, and she just can't write romance anymore, and so she is late on a deadline because in her mind romance is dead. And Ben is saying no, she can't have an extension. And then in kind of the middle of that little dilemma, her father passes away. And so she has to go back home again, where she hasn't been for years. And when she is at the funeral home that her family owns, there's a knock on the door, and when she answers it, it's Ben, and she realizes that he's dead. So, because she can see ghosts. So anyway, it's kind of about, Florence feels like, because she can see ghosts, part of her job is to help them with unfinished business so they can move on. So this book is about Florence and Ben kind of spending time together so that Florence can help Ben with unfinished business. And she thinks it's the manuscript that she owes him that she's so late on. So that's kind of, I liked Florence and Ben together. I really liked the discussion about grief. It was really well done. Ben had grief over him being dead. There was grief over her father. And the way that they kind of helped each other and supported each other at that point, I thought that was really well done. The ending, you could see it coming a mile away because it's a romance, a capital
100%.
R romance. So you know what it is.
Yeah.
I think the end dragged on a little long.
That's fair.
But the kind of next to the end part was really good. It was really good. It was really good. I'm not going to say. But the very, very end, it drug on.
Yeah, the very, very end didn't need to be there, but the part before the end was, the ending before the end was good.
Yeah.
That's where it should have ended.
That's where it should have ended. Most definitely. That's where it should have ended.
Yeah. But, yeah, it was good. And I really liked her family in this, too.
I did, too.
Like, the descriptions of her dad and her sister and all of them. They were all kind of, like, weird and wacky, and I just really liked it. They weren't afraid to be who they were.
Yeah.
So, that was really nice.
Yep.
Okay.
There's
a cardinal outside.
Is there?
And the tree.
Well, they like the cedar trees. Okay, that's it for me.
Alright, well, I think I only have one left to talk about now after everything, and that is The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. So this book is about Mika. That's right. This book's about Mika Moon, who is a witch, and she has her own little YouTube channel where she does magic tricks and stuff there. But obviously she's pushing it as not real magic because she's part of this very secret society of witches, which the leader of this group hates when she calls them the Very Secret Society. So that just makes her want to call them that more, which I thought was awesome.
Oh my goodness, that cardinal is just perched right on outside the window, isn't he?
Yeah. And so with her YouTube channel, that's kind of the only way that she can share her magic with the world without actually having to come out and share her magic with the world. So this guy ends up running across her YouTube channel and can tell just by watching her videos that she is actually a real witch, and so he gets into contact with her and offers her a job to come out and tutor their 3 girls that they have living there with them. And Mika's like, this sounds kind of sketch, but she decides to do it anyway. She just felt like something was telling her that she needed to reply to this email and take the job. And so she ends up going out to this place that's kind of hidden with magical wards and stuff, so it's very difficult to find. And she come to find out that the 3 little girls are needing a tutor for magic. And so they were I think Ian, the guy who contacted her, was contacting her because he knew that she was a witch and figured that she could help the 3 girls keep their magic in check because they have some outside guy coming to the estate to check on everything and make sure that it's all looking good, because he hasn't heard from the lady who actually owns the estate for a while. So he's thinking something fishy's going on. Yeah. And he's coming to double check on everything, and they need the stuff to go as smooth as possible. And he does not know about magic. Right. So he's just a muggle, typical muggle. And so yeah, she's there to try and help keep them in check and stuff, and the cast of characters in this book is so great. They're so fun. I love how flamboyant some of them are. I think that Jamie is the perfect, it's like kind of like the perfect mix of grumpy Sunshine, because the Sunshine's not too extreme, the grumpiness isn't so extreme. It's just like that perfect little level of just, I just love it so much. It was so cute. And Jamie is so sweet. He is kind of the adopted father of these 3 little girls. And so having him take care of all of them, you can kind of see his soft side come out. And then when he's with Mika, like, she annoys the crap out of him at the beginning. And it's just so fun to just hear his, like, inner monologue with some of the stuff about how, like, oh my gosh, this girl.
Yeah.
And I just loved it. It was so, so cute. So cute.
I love Mika's magic in this too, where, you know, she would go outside barefoot and harvest moonlight, and I was like, oh, I just love her magic too. It's a very cozy book.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I read this because I was doing my cozy fantasy experiment, and that's why I picked that book up to begin with. It is very cozy.
Yeah.
And very sweet.
It's so good. So good.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Okay. Whew. That was a lot of books.
That's a lot of books. That was a lot of books.
Yep. But overall, pretty good reading.
Yeah, not bad.
For as many books as we read, I say we did pretty good as far as ratings go and stuff. So
yeah.
I'm not complaining.
That's true. That's true.
I found a lot of new favorites. I mean, 3 5 stars in 1 month from me? Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Who is she?
I'm telling you, you need to read Grace Draven. I think you would, especially Radiance. I think you would like that.
You told me that I would like Beauty too, and here.
Well, you know, this is not Beauty. The language gets a little flowery sometimes, like, you know, but overall. And actually, there's another one she's got called Master of Crows, and he is an asshole to start with.
Perfect.
So you'd probably
my type.
Silhara. Silhara is his name. He is an asshole, and you probably love him. I love him, but he is definitely an asshole. Grace Draven writes really well. I like her. Anyway, there you go.
Alrighty. Well, I think that's going to do it for our March wrap-up. If you guys enjoyed watching the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already subscribed, go on down below the video, hit that red subscribe button, and join the Everyday Adventure family so you can see our beautiful faces every Sunday with new book videos. And also, don't forget to go and join channel memberships where you can get early access to the non-book videos for the moment, and also access to members-only videos and even some live streams every now and again. And also, go and follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Everyday Epic Book Club, where you can get even more content from us, like reading vlogs and book discussions, and I don't even know what all else is on there, but
whatever we think of at the time.
Bookish things, yeah. Random bookish things.
Random stuff.
If you just want your timelines to be blessed with some random book content, go check it out.
We're your girls.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of non-book content as well, be sure and check out the rest of Amy's channel, where you can find videos that cover such a broad spectrum, from home decor to home renovations to cleaning and organizing to traveling to reading and cooking and cats, all kinds. And if that's not enough, you can also go check out her blog, which has more content on it, like travel articles, Watch It Wednesdays, where she reviews Netflix shows, and Foodie Fridays, where sometimes she takes me with her and we eat good things. Yeah. So be sure and check all of that out and become a part of the entire Everyday Adventurer family.
Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for us, so like I said, hope you enjoyed watching, and I'm Amy.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are
the Everyday Epic.
See y'all in the next one.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace.